Yo, what is up, guys? Gaming First back again, once again, doing another video for you guys today, man. So, today we are reviewing Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly. If you guys haven't heard about it, this is one of the new latest remakes. The game just came out like a week ago, and yeah, I played it and I'm about to do a review for it. Hope you guys enjoy the video. As you know how I do my reviews. If you don't, what I usually do is compile a couple of topics together, talk about those topics, and then at the end of the video I give my final score, and hopefully you'll decide if you do want to play the game or not. So let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Yeah, I didn't expect this game to be so similar to the original, which was really cool. I remember playing the original game back in I think it came out in the early 2000s, I think. And yeah, you know what is this game about? It's basically about a two sisters that are in ancient Japan in a village, and it's about them just seeking. I think they seeking their dad, but while they are like coming across this village, one of the sisters actually get lost, and it's your job to find out where she is. You know, the remake has a really good promise, and it fulfilled on those promises. With the visual upgrade and the modern controls, the game feels really new, and it's a really good game for people to hop in who haven't even experienced the Fatal Frame franchise. Me being a big fan of it back when it came out, I remember playing the game, and it's basically this horror game where you fight ghosts, but you fight ghosts with a camera. And the developers of this game are Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja. They did a really good job with remaking it. The game looks really cool. The horror and the atmosphere here at display, I think it's really cool. You know, the game builds a lot of fear, and it has a slow pacing, and the tension is really cool. And the game, what I mean by slow tension is and slow pacing, is that the game is quite slow and it takes its time, even though it can be completed in about 10 hours, which is really short. The psychological horror in this game is really cool versus like the jump scares as well. Quite similar to the first one where they had the jump scares and you being uh, in the abandoned village and these tight spaces. And most of the game is taking place in the darkness, and yeah, basically the whole game. And you feel scared like consistently being like in the dark all the time. And yeah, I think the atmosphere is really good. They nailed it, and the graphics are really good. I had the game set to high settings, and the game performed really well on my GTX 1660 Ti. With all the settings cranked up, I was able to get 50 to 60 frames per second. And yeah, the core mechanic in the game, like I said, you fight ghosts with a camera. You don't use your hands in the game at all. You don't use like melee attacks at all, because all of these ghosts are in the spiritual realm. But with this camera, you can actually see them and fight them, because they do attack you. Even though you can't see them with the naked eye in the game, you can still see them through the camera, and they can still hurt you. And I think that's what made the game unique back then, and that's what still makes it unique is the combat. You know, it's super satisfying to kill ghosts with a camera, and I think it still definitely holds up in terms of the combat. It can feel a little bit different for some horror fans that are used to using like melee combat, especially like Silent Hill fans. As for this game being and feeling and looking quite similar to Silent Hill, it is not in terms of the combat, and the movement is different, the responsiveness of the game is different, and also the clunkiness is very different. It's not even clunky at all. It just has a different feel to it, and it's very accessible for new players. With the game being remade, you don't have to go back and play the original one. And I mean, they made the remake for new players, but also for fans of the game and who would like to revisit the story and the amazing environment that the game has to offer. So yeah, Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly remake has included uh, 6 total endings, with the Hellish Abyss, the Lingering Sin, and of course the Xbox exclusive ending, which is called the Promise. So you need an Xbox to actually get that ending. And then there is 2 new exclusive endings that they added. It's quite similar to the Shadow Festival and the Frozen Butterfly ending from the first game. So if you do remember that and you played Fatal Frame 1, you will know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, go ahead and look that up. But yeah, man, the sound design as well is very underrated. As I said, you don't use any weapons, but the whispering and the ambient noise in the game is so cool, and how it builds up tension in the game, and with the added visuals, I think headphones is definitely recommended. If you are not playing this game with headphones, please go ahead and play it with headphones, as it is better experience with headphones because of the audio that they use. And like I said, there's these whispers that you hear from the ghosts and all of those things, and it's just very much better experience with headphones. Coming back to the story, it has a lot of emotional impact. Like I said, you play with the twins and the themes in the game. Without spoiling anything, it's super scary and quite emotional as well. The narrative is very good, and it still hits very well in 2026. They didn't change much when it comes to the writing of the story, except for the endings that they added. And yeah, so the enemy design in the game, there's a lot of like scare variety when it comes to like the ghosts that they designed, and the creep factor in the game. And there are some repetitive enemies in the game, but there's a lot of various encounters that make these repetitive enemies feel super memorable, and they create different moments in the game. So remake versus the original, what has really changed? Like I said, there's a couple of endings that they added, and of course the graphical upgrade with the new engine that they used. The game just looks much better. The gameplay tweaks that they used, some camera gameplay tweaks, some cosmetic things that you can now have on the character, and some of these things a lot of fans will love and some fans will hate, but I think the game definitely respects the original, and it doesn't make the original bad in any way. And the graphics is very much welcomed, and the extra cosmetics and things like that. So in terms of the performance for the game on PC, like I said, the game performed pretty well on my PC with stable 50 to 60 FPS on high settings. I experienced zero bugs, zero glitches, zero crashes. The optimization is very well done for PC. I can also say the same for consoles. I've checked out a couple of videos of people playing it on console, and it performs very well on console. So yeah, I mean, comparing this game to modern horror games, I don't think it can be compared to that because of the time that it came out, and now putting it in this new light with new graphics and things like that. I don't think it can be compared with like Resident Evil. The new Resident Evil obviously is its own game and its own behemoth of a game. Resident Evil Requiem that came out this year as well, just a couple of weeks ago, and it can't be compared to that because it's quite old school, and the modern design is insane. By the way, I still need to play Resident Evil Requiem. I will do a video of that game on my channel as well. So yeah, I mean, if you're a hardcore horror fan, this game is definitely for you. And if you, like I said, the game's pacing of the game is slow. So if you like atmospheric, slow games, this game will definitely be for you. And final verdict, is it really one of the scariest games of 2026? I think it might be up there. It might be one of the scariest games of 2026. And yeah, score for this game. What I'm giving this game is a solid 7.5 out of 10 for Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake. I think it's definitely worth getting and checking out. There isn't any demo or anything, so you have to buy the full game. But it's definitely worth it if you are a fan of horror games. Like I said, it's a remake, but the game very much welcomes new players. And yeah, I think it deserves a solid 7.5. I might go back and replay it sometime, but I think it's definitely worth your time. But let me know. Let me know what you think, guys. This is my final score for Fatal Frame 2 Remake. Let me know what you think about the game. If you're planning on jumping in, if you have jumped in and you've played it, let me know in the comment section below. Please like this video, guys. That really helps up my channel, and I do appreciate that. Go ahead and subscribe if you do like what I do. If you like my content, I really appreciate that so much. It is completely free to subscribe, and it doesn't cost you anything. So I appreciate that so much. Guys, I've been Gamerverse, and as you know, I will always see you in another video.